I had to test to make sure my mic was on because I did this before with no mic, no sound, and that was just like, learn my lesson. So, good morning, everybody. Happy Sunday. Let us get into this, get into some charts. All right, so first of all, you guys know that we have a short week coming because of Thanksgiving. So I believe futures are even trading on shortened hours. This is the best way. Oop, Thanksgiving trading hours. All right, okay, so the regular market is closing early at 1 o'clock on Friday. Y'all just know something. That is going to be a very low volume day. Take Friday off. There's honestly no reason for you to watch the charts. If maybe you're in a swing or something like that and you want to check on your position, but otherwise, I am telling y'all it's going to be very, very low volume. So leave it alone. It does not open on Thanksgiving Day. However, futures are open, I believe, until 1 o'clock on Thanksgiving Day. And then it opens back up at 5 o'clock on Thanksgiving Day. Okay, so you can always look at it right here just to understand where we at. Thanksgiving Day 2023. So we're closed on Thursday. So I thought that we had closed early on Wednesday, but I'm not seeing that. So it looks like Wednesday will be a full trading day. Although I think this entire week is still going to be low volume. You have to remember that there are going to be people that are traveling this week, so they won't be trading. All right, so let's see. Yeah, so futures have abbreviated hours, and I told you about that. It's 1 o'clock that it closes, and it reopens at 5 o'clock on Thanksgiving Day. Okay. So, of course, for the economic calendar, again, it's a short week, so we're not going to have much. However, Tuesday we will have this existing home sales and FOMC minutes at 3 o'clock. Yeah, I had to pause there because what? On a short week. So Tuesday might be the day out of the entire week that something may actually happen. Okay, Tuesday and Wednesday, because instead of us getting our jobless claims on Thursday, we're going to get them on Wednesday. So we have jobless claims, we have Michigan consumer sentiment, all on Wednesday. Okay, that's a lot to write during a holiday week. And then of course on Friday it's not going to be anything because it's a short day. So we're not oh wait, I lied. Y'all look at this. PMI on Friday, like that may actually do something. I doubt it, but what? That may do something for futures. So if anything, I'll maybe watching futures that day. But keep that in mind. We do have data next week. We have a short week. And biggest thing of all is NVIDIA earnings are on Tuesday after hours. So with NVIDIA earnings, NVIDIA can really push the market one way or the other. And then having this data as well. So Tuesday you have FOMC minutes, and then that night or that evening, 2 hours later, because this is at 3 o'clock, you'll have NVIDIA earnings that may move something. And then Wednesday morning, you got the jobless claims. So those are the things I want y'all to be aware of for this coming up week. Since we have NVIDIA earnings and we know that NVIDIA can move the market. Look at this now. NVIDIA for weeks now. I believe this was from the last earnings. Let me look on the day real quick. Oh, I'm looking at the wrong one. No, the last earnings, it actually didn't do well. It did. It gapped up to 500 and then it fell a lot. So that's something you may want to watch. But I just want to really point out that we are in this range here. It just took out, oh no, it hasn't even taken out this high. It has not taken out as high as for 503. So if it does want to do that, because remember this here on the month, it has done a rev strat, and that rev strat is in force. So your ultimate target here is going to be that 503 high that it hit before. We know that earnings can just boom that. And we also know that there's plenty of space, excuse me, for this to still go to the upside, okay? Because we did this flag, this bull flag here. And so if it really wants to break out and go, I don't know why my broad informations are drawn like that. But yeah, if this really, really wants to go, maybe if I can change this up a little bit. And we know it can boom. So video can get up to about 550. All right, whichever way it goes. Now, for earnings, it could drop and push, or it could push and drop, or it could stay sideways. I doubt it would stay sideways. I'm more inclined to say it will push because, I mean, it's NVIDIA. But if it repeats the last earnings, it could definitely gap up and drop down. I can't stop yawning, y'all. I'm sorry. So that's something we want to watch for the next week. All right. So really quickly, if you have been watching my videos for a long time, you know that every 2 weeks I go over 2-week setups. Now, as I was going through them this weekend and deleting the ones from the last 2 weeks, I realized that those plays hit so well. If you took any, please let me know in the comments, because some of them, I mean, really boomed. I told y'all about XLF and Banks. Banks did absolutely amazing. Okay, Uber is a cheapie. Uber went insane. So if y'all took some of those, please let me know. All right. This time we do have another 2-week bar starting on Monday. I don't like too many setups, I'm not gonna lie, but here are the top 3. XLU almost stayed inside, but you have a, I guess you can call it a morning star, no, not a morning star doji. Forget what they call those. It's not a gravestone. It's blank in my mind right now, but it was almost inside, okay? 2 up on the month is in force, which your magnitude is 6560. Okay, so if this wants to continue, then you can ride that up to that monthly target. Okay, Walmart, I guess, did not have great earnings. All right, but Walmart is about to outside month if it wants to continue to go. All right, 150, 167 is going to be that target there. So your trigger will be a 3-2 down on a 2-week to finish the outside month. And then XLB, again, another one where the monthly is in force. So you were really just looking to, oh, I think it was this hammer. This actually isn't a setup. I'm not quite sure why I have this here, except for the fact that it has triggered the monthly up. Yeah, I'm not sure. One other thing I'm going to add here is ZOM. Now, I believe I was looking at this on the weekly. Yeah, it may actually be the week. Yes, ZOM has a PMG on the week, so we'll get to that later. That's not our 2-week setup. So let us go into our regular stuff. Oh, look, I just happen to be on ZOM. So while we're right here, let's just look at it. All right, so ZOM is in force. Well, it was in force on the monthly down. Did not quite hit magnitude, but it printed an almost hammer on the week. So that's what I really like on ZOM, is that almost hammer on the week. Although this is stuck in a range that it's been in. If you look at it on the daily, it may try to come. It has a gap here to fill. That would be my first target, of course. And then if it can keep going with that hammer, second target is going to be this 200 to see if it can reclaim it, or if it will reject from here. If it reclaims the 200, then we can start looking at that PMG for it to start taking out those targets. All right. So that's I just wanted to point that out to you guys. Alrighty, now let us look at the VIX on the month. Oh, over here. Come on the month and the 2-week. So we know that the VIX triggered the monthly to the downside. We have not hit magnitude yet. So 1269 is what I'm looking for here. There's no actionable signal here on the 2-week, and then or on the week there, but we are still below our 200. We're still just falling, so we're expecting, honestly, for the market to be a little more green because we do still have magnitude here. It's only $1, so you'll see that though when we go through the rest of everything. You'll see how a lot of these things are close to their monthly targets, just like how VIX is. So we really want to see how it reacts here at 1274. All right, gold had a little bit of a pullback. It bounced off of this 38.2 level, and it printed an almost hammer. So I'm watching gold to see, because it could definitely 3-2 up on the month. And so your hammer here would be, this would be a Randy Jackson. So you got your 2 up, 2 up, 2 down, and then 2 up to continue the trend. That 2 up may trigger the 3-2 up on the month. All right, so watching gold. Oh, this is a 2-week hammer, by the way, so remember that. On the actual week, gold has what we like consider an evening star. Okay, so there also, this is the downtrend line that I had drawn that gold was temporarily in. So seeing if it can break above that 1998, which I believe would be the trigger on that. Well, not quite. Almost. So if it 2-week triggers up, if it can push through there, it will negate this. Otherwise, this may be an evening star on the day. I mean, the daily can still just pull back for the evening star and then boom out. But that's something we want to watch on the week. It's an outside week. So basically, we were in our downtrend. We 2 down and we reversed. So you want to see if it 3-2s up on the week. All right, that 3-2 up on the week could put us, will trigger that 2-week, and then we'll trigger that monthly. All right, looking at DXY. So DXY is almost at the 50% level of this run. That's really interesting, y'all, because we called it so perfectly. Broadening formations do exist. Rest in peace, Rob Smith. But I mean, this was just like, this couldn't have been no more perfect. And if you need proof, just go watch the last few videos, because I'm telling you, we basically called this, that reversal, the resting, and then the reversal, the correction. 2 up, 2 down on the month. All right, that's just almost perfect. So it does still have magnitude here if it wants to go. This 103.31, which will be just short of the 50% level here. So that's what I'm looking to see, if it's going to bounce here, that 50%, or if it's going to continue, because we know it can get up to even 61.8%. But definitely watching the dollar, to see what the dollar is going to do. All right, looking at it on the daily, it has just surpassed its 200. So you see how it's done this, came up, done this, came up. This is a MMSM, according to Shay, my girl Shay. What's up, Shay? This looks like right here a menu MMSM, the sell model. So yeah, I'm expecting that this is going to keep going down. Just seeing if it's going to hold that level or not. All right, so looking at the NASDAQ, monthly broadening formations are still here. Now, this is what I was talking about when I was saying we were looking at the VIX, and you would see a lot of things are close to their monthly targets. This reversed and took out 1, 2, 3 targets. Okay, it's almost at that last one. I mean, literally 15,936. That's 100 points from where this is. Okay, so it's almost there. You're going to see this a lot with a lot of these stocks. You'll see that they're almost at their monthly targets, and exhaustion. So that's something you want to be aware of. Now it can hit that, but the broadening formation has this going to 16155. So just know that it can still go past that, because again, broadening formations do exist. No 2 week signal here. And then looking at it on the day, we are just well above the 200. I mean, it came down, it tested it perfectly and just bounced. This couldn't have been a perfect test and bounce. No, you know why it wasn't perfect? Because it flew from here. A perfect one would have been if it tested, came up, gave us a little smaller low, and then went. This instead, from here, just shot up like a rocket. All right, so this is looking on the daily like a bull flag for the most part. It's up, and then we're flagging. So in order to negate that, 15727 will have to be taken out, and then it may go for this gap down here. All right, so we know we got several gaps below that we will target, and we know we are close to exhaustion to the upside. All right, so that's a lot of the theme that you're going to see here. All right, monthly in force here, we just hit this target. You do have these if it wants to go for it, and the top of the broadening formation. No actionable signal here on the 2 week. On the weekly and the daily, again, no actionable signal. Looking like a bull flag here. Would need to break. Well, this is. It really needs to break that 346.78 to negate that bull flag. And then you have these gaps. Well, just that gap. I mean, it's gaps down here, but at least this gap. You would be looking for some type of correction to see if it wants it. But again, we are at exhaustion with a lot of these things, so keep that in mind. IWM Bay. So IWM just triggered the monthly to the upside. Okay, I want y'all to remember 181 is a tough level. All right, we've been here so many times. If you look at it here, so many times we've bounced from here, we've dropped from here, like there's no telling. So that's the level that it needs to get out of. It's that 181. Now we know the monthly is in force above 177. Okay, so that we'll keep watching that to see if it's going to actually do anything. The 181 level is actually right where the 200 is. So that's going to be our key test. We rejected it once, then came back in and the bull stepped back in. So are they going to push back above and give us green? Again, we have to see. But no actionable signal here on the weekly or the 2 week. So I was saying that with a lot of them. A lot of these do not have actionable signals on the 2 week or even the weekly. A lot of them are they've just been going. So here we have the Qs. This looks exactly like NASDAQ. This basically $2 away from its target. I need to remove this. Wait, I didn't realize I had that. Remove that. Remove that. That's the up one. I'm just going to keep the monthly ones on here. Oh, no, that's the wrong one. It's the monthly ones. Because it blew past the broad information that I had on here. So let's see. This will be the next one. And it's right there. So we're at this broadening formation. I bet you this is Microsoft, because you'll see Microsoft hit the top of the broadening formation once we go there. This is not giving any signal that it's about to reverse. We would need to take out 375 to show that this is about to reverse. So again, we're looking like a bull flag up here. Once it pushes past that resistance, we can go to the 392, which 392 is not quite. Yeah, all-time high is way up here in the 400s, so, you know, we got space for that. But, yeah, we're looking like a bull flag. Of course, if we can break 383, that we're going to target the gap below. I think NVIDIA may do that for these Qs. So, so definitely something you want to keep watching is NVIDIA, see what it does. SPY is struggling to get to this 453 level. I mean, on the last few days, like you can see kind of all of them look like that. It's trying to get to that 453. it could go to 457 and then 459 if it really wants this. This is almost a PMG, but it's not enough. You need 5 in order to be in PMG, but it does still have room. It's been past its 50% level, so it's very strong here. And again, this is not giving any signs that anything is reversing. There's no actionable signal here, but again, the bulls are basically holding it down. We have a bull flag here. SPY would have to break 446 to invalidate that flag that we have going on here. And then if it does, we're going to start targeting the gaps here. So you got this gap at 441. You got another gap at 430. I mean, there's several gaps here. But interesting to see if it's going to try to go for this 453 or if this will be the start of a head. It'd be really interesting if it makes a head here and then gaps down, and then we'll have a head and shoulders with gaps. Y'all, I'm coming next week if that happens. If NVIDIA does that, I swear to God, I'm coming next week and I'm gonna clip that what I just said, just because, like, that would be kind of cool. It would. All right, so anyway, moving right along. Once again, no actionable signal here. It's just boomed. We hit the monthly target with Apple though, so interesting to see what it does. There's still room, of course. And then looking at it on the weekly, again, there's no actionable signal here. On the daily, same thing. This is just, it's like it's climbing up, but it's very wicky. Keith. Keith told me to start using that term because the Apple's super wicky, but it finally came up here and filled this gap that it tried to do here. So it tried to fill the gap here and it didn't quite get it. This time we actually got it and whipped off of that. All right, so interesting to see what it does from here. It's, again, no real reversal signal because you even had this shooter here and then it gapped up the next day. Okay, so like no reversal signal until it actually reverses. All right, and it's quite a long ways for that. But yeah, if it can break 188, we would at least start targeting to maybe these EMAs for some corrective activity. Because even with SPY and the Qs, like, if y'all been with me for a while, you know we're looking for some type of correction to these EMAs. Now, I do want to point out one thing. Sometimes you don't get the correction to the EMAs. What you'll get is sideways basing action while the EMAs catch up, and then it makes a move. Okay, so that's what we're going to be looking for. All right, Microsoft hit magnitude. Okay, so Microsoft made a new high last week at 376.49. New all-time high for it, and it basically hit that new broad information. Y'all, broad informations exist. This one went from here to the last all-time high. Okay, so you said that it could come here if it decided to take this out. Fibs who? Because we had a corrective activity and it came right back up. Broad informations exist. It's proof. See, the dogs even agree. Now they're not gonna stop. Lord have mercy. Anyway, so Microsoft kind of printed, and this isn't an evening star. This isn't an evening star, or a shooter, but where it is with the rejection, if Microsoft can break a 366, it may come down. And it may not come all the way down to the 353, but that's what you would be looking for here for some corrective activity. As a bear, you know that this needs some corrective activity. But at the same time, you know, this is an example of what I was just talking about, how something can go and then base while the EMAs catch up. All right, now it's decision time. Okay, is this going to be a head? Because that could be the head. We may be in a shoulder area, and it can definitely come down even halfway through this with 361. So I will be watching Microsoft for some corrective activity. If Microsoft can pull back and if Apple pulls back and NVIDIA doesn't do well, the market may pull back. So that's what we are going to be watching for the next few weeks, or for the next week. Excuse me. I think that is it for now. We're just going to do the sectors because I already showed you the 2-week setup list. Oh, really quickly before we do this. Well, no, I'll do that afterwards. Okay. Yeah, with the sectors, I did not see anything. I saw a few that I liked, but again, most of these are they look just like the stocks that we've shown you. You got a bold flag on the daily. They pushed for the week. They've triggered the monthly to the upside, and it still has more room. So XLY still has room to go to the upside. If you want to catch it, I would wait for the corrective activity. It would be nice if it could come to this, fill this gap, because it just filled this gap. All right, so it filled this gap, moved a little sideways. Now I want to see if it fills this gap and then continues to the upside. Maybe, maybe not. XLK technology has hit the Broadner formation like Microsoft. So looking to see what it does from up here. All right, are we going to have a pullback or what's going to happen? XLF was on the list last week for the 2 up, and boom, it hit it. Went through the actual Broadner formation and ended strong. I mean, there's no wick up here. There's very little wicks to this candle. They are buying banks. Okay. They are buying banks. It's even a hammer on the day here if it wants to continue. All right. So XLF has been looking good. XLC communications boomed, went through there. Is coming for the top of this Broadner formation. No actionable signal there. Bull flag like the rest of everything else. XLE has been struggling a little bit. It's like it wants to go red, but the bulls are not quite letting it go red. No actionable signal here on the 2-week or the monthly. On the week, this doesn't look as good, but ZOM does look good for the week. And I want you to notice that if we do, you have 1, 2, 3, 4. There is a PMG on XLE. So look for PMG on your favorite oil stocks. All right. Now, understand they are all retesting this 200. So that's what you need to check for. If it can break above this 200, flip that month green, then you may see that PMG go in effect. All right, so that 200 is going to be your spot. That's going to be the spot right here, because also all your EMAs are turning down here. Your 8 is turning up, so if it pushes above, it'll turn these back up, and your 8 will cross your 200 back, and that may be bullish, which would coincide, honestly, with the market falling, because you know it usually runs opposite. So XLU, we already talked about this actually because it's monthly in force. That's on our weekly list. XLI, no actionable signal here. In force on the monthly if it wants to continue. No actionable signal on the week, and bull flagging on the day. All right, so you got the gap to target if it wants to go to the downside, but looking strong. XLV is inside month, so it's actually not doing anything. The 2-week is barely a 2 up, so sometimes I almost treat these as if they're inside, if they're close enough to a hammer, and it will trigger something else. This is not triggering the monthly though, so I don't really like it. It's in between EMA, so I definitely don't like it. It needs to kind of choose which direction it's going to go. XLP, triggered the monthly in a 2 up, but we have a wick here, strong wick. So interesting to see who will really take control or take the reins here. No actionable signal on the 2-week, and on the weekly, you almost have a rev strat, but this somewhat shooter is green. So if it breaks 68.89, then it can definitely come down. It would flip your time frame continuity red. Oh, that's another thing I wanted to point out. time frame continuity is green on almost all of our stuff. So just look at that. It's green. So again, even if we have corrective activity to these gaps, we're still bullish. All right. The quarter opened here at 426 and the month at 418. Is that right? 418 it opened? Yep. That's right. So keep that in mind. We're very far away from flipping time frame continuity red. So I would, if you're a bear, I would look for some pullbacks, maybe fill in the gap. But until we get all the way down here, the bulls are in control. So y'all have to remember that, okay? The bulls are in control. All right, where was I at? I don't know, y'all. I think it was XLP. Yes, because we talked about this right track and flipping that red if it goes. XLRE is going to be real estate. Again, no actionable signal. This has triggered the monthly up, so it does have room. 37, 34. That's not much room, but if it wants to continue going, it's kind of an actionable signal on the week. I don't really like 3-2s unless it's like at the bottom of a downtrend, the 3 reverses and then it 2s ups like that. But then you also could look at this. If this was about downtrend, it did a 3, 1, 3. So that's showing that the bulls are stepping in. Time frame continuity has flipped back green. So real estate may actually do something. Here on a daily, you have a bull flag. XLB. I believe we talked. This may be on the list, but we may have talked about it. No actionable signal here. However, on your 2-week, you have a hammer here. Okay, so thinking about the 2-week hammer can continue this monthly that's in force that is going to 8402. Okay, no actionable signal here on the week, but it reclaimed the 200 here, and our EMAs are turning up, so we're looking pretty bullish. XOP. It's not doing anything. It barely went 2 down in a month and it came back in. So it's just really not doing much of anything. No actionable signal here on the 2-week, although we do have a head and shoulders here. So if it wants to die, then, I can definitely see that happening. I think that it's at a do or die moment right here. We're sitting at the 200. The last time it came to the 200, it boomed away from it. All right, so have to see if it's going to go to the upside or to the downside here. We don't really have an actionable signal to kind of predict, but we do know, again, like I said, on the 2-week, you got a head and shoulders here, and then on the daily, I see that same thing. Head and shoulders. It filled this gap. Now it's shouldering area, so this could either boom from here, because we do have a broadening formation where it made a TTO. Yep, it took them out. You can either boom from here into up on the week, or it could die and continue this monthly down. XRT retail it's that time of year, y'all. It's November. Black Friday is coming up. So retail and transportation, I think, have had their corrective activity, and it's time for them to try to go back to the upside. Has a little more room here to the upside. I know Macy's was one that did really well this month, but yeah, so we're watching retail to see if they're going to move. Just reclaimed its 200 here, no actionable signal. Jets is another one that has been beat down. I mean, look at that, and look where it bounced at. I mean, exactly where it did before. So with this repeat, you got this red bar, you got a green bar, and then it went up. Okay, we know transportation's picking up. It's supposed to be one of the busiest Thanksgiving weeks for transportation. We have almost triggered the 2 up on the month. So above 1706 will trigger the 2-month, and it will also flip the quarter green. Your time frame continuity will be green again. All right, so here, this did have a PMG on the week. So even though this is here, you can still count this as possibly taking this PMG to the upside. It may not come and take all of this out, but even if it goes halfway, 1860 could be somewhere that it could be looking to go to. All right, so watch Jets because this is another one that has a PMG. I'm gonna write that really quickly because I don't think I had that there. Because that's ZOM PMG and then Jets PMG that we like. And remember, you guys, the PMG is on the week. Yes, so it needs time. Well, this is a 2 week. We'll look at the weekly in a second. 1, 2, 3, 4. Not quite on the monthly. On the week. Look at this. Yeah, you got plenty of room. Okay, so inside day may send that. So that would be one of my top watches. You know, we've had our corrective activity. I mean, it took all of that out. That's so crazy. So even if it just comes to this 50% or if it just decides to keep going, that is a top watch. All right. Lithium. Let's go back over here. All right. So not really. I mean, it's just, if you think about it, slowly taking out this here. And it's sitting, I bet you this is halfway on the month. Let me look. Your eyes sometimes start to see that. Oh, yep. So that's why it did this, because it was at the 50% level and it lost it. So now it's at the 61.8% level. Now this is interesting because if it can recover from here, that would be good. If it loses here, it's most likely going to give the rest of this back up. Now it may do this slow melt thing. This is really a MMSM on the monthly. So you got that shaking right here and down. So now it might shake right here and then move down or up from here. So this is the 61.8% level. We just going to keep that in mind. No actionable signal, kind of, except what you can look at is that it will trigger the 50% on the month at 51.01. So even though this isn't a hammer, if it does two continuation here and it flips this or turns this hits the 50% level, then it can continue to that 55. If it would move from there, that will flip everything green time frame continuity wise. Okay, so that's something we want to keep in mind. But we do know, even if it flipped it green, we're well below our 200, like even on the weekly. So bears are honestly in control, but when you look at us on a daily, you got your W here, inverted head and shoulders, however you want to call it, showing that the bulls may be stepping in and at least coming to fill up this gap here. Did they get this gap? They did get that gap. There's a gap there. There's a lot of gaps to the upside in case it wants to move. So watch lit. SMH. So SMH did the outside month. Oh no. It triggered the monthly to the upside. That's what it was. And hit both or all of its basically targets. It hit those. Did we make a new? I think we did make a new 52-week high. New all-time high. Yep. So we should be exhausted. No actionable signal here. So even if we are exhausted, though, we don't have any actionable signal or reversal signal that would say, okay, yeah, short it. Because all-time highs, it can still keep going. Y'all do some fib extensions on it or something, however you want to do it. Actually, I think you can do it like here. Let's see. Really quickly. Shouts out to Kiki for teaching me this. But let me see if I'm going to do it right. So, starting from here, we did that, and then we did that. There we go. So, based on that, 165.73, 174.88. Those will be your targets to the upside. 184.03. Y'all, come back to this. If NVIDIA sends the market, I want y'all to see how y'all could have seen where it was going to go based on that. Once it's hit an all-time high, like how do you figure out where it's going to go? Let's do NVIDIA because y'all not going to say, oh, she did SMH. She didn't even do NVIDIA. We're going to do NVIDIA. So we're going to start here. We're going to go up here and then down here. And boom. So we have our all-time high, of course, 502, 543, which about the top of that Brawner formation. And if it sends from there, 589. I'm gonna leave this here because y'all ain't gonna tell me that I ain't say this. It's gonna be somewhere. Anyway, moving on. Not SMH. IYT. We did trigger the monthly to the upside. I actually like this because it still has room to the upside, and it just triggered. Absolutely beautiful hammer from the 2-week that went in for us. Okay, so there's no actionable signal there. You'd have to find your entry, but you do have, look at this tight hammer right here. All right, so the bulls are in control. You got an inverted head and shoulders here, and reclaimed our 200. So that is good. And then China is not doing anything but dying and then actually sitting here. So, yeah, it's just really not much to go on here. It's hit 52-week lows. If you want to, you could probably use that trend-based fib extension to see how low can it go. Can you go to the flow? Then you have this shooter here on the week. So, that actually isn't helping right there. Inside day, we're well below our 200. So the bears are 100% in control here. Alrighty. So lastly, let's look at a couple of our 50% on the months. Still waiting to see if CVS is going to recover there. We talked about Walmart. Walmart had earnings that they didn't like. So looking to see if that's going to 50% on the month. That's really all I have for that, because we went over these outside quarters last week. All right, so I think that's it. We did the 2-week, 50%. Oh, my weekly list. Let me go on it really quickly. You have a star on the week with COP. Okay, so possibly a star. Remember I was telling you oil. If oil wants to recover from here, you have a star where it could do a 2 down, 2 up, and really move. We do have a gap here to the upside that we want to look for. So we're going to see if it's going to finish that. You got Microsoft. Again, you got a somewhat shooter after it hit exhaustion. Out of your sectors, I told you about XLP with the possible rev strat here. But it also had triggered the monthly to the upside. Okay, so out of XLP, the ones I like the most are CL, PEP, because PEP has this flag here. Now this is looking like a bull flag, but it could break down, with the rest of the sector. So PG, you got your possible rev strat here on the week. Cost with this absolutely beautiful shooter. And again, Walmart, because 3-2 can give us that outside mount. All right. Next, you got XLU. Don't like this as much, but it's there if it does the 3-2. So remember, we were talking about how we had a 3, but we had the recovery, inside day rest, and then the bulls stepped in. So seeing if they continue that. We talked about IYT because we like the transportation for this time of year. We talked about XLB. These last few ones are more so that they have triggered the monthly to the upside. Okay, so like CXLU, monthly to the upside. IYT, monthly to the upside. Probably should change the section there. And let's maybe do that, because it's not even 2-week signals. These are monthly signals. XLB, again, monthly to the upside, and XLI, monthly to the upside with room. So that's why we have those there. And then we talked about the PMG on ZOM and Jets. Okay, so that's your list for this week. That is everything, I believe. Yeah. So I will be traveling next weekend. If I have time, I will definitely try to do another video, but it may be another 2 weeks just in case. So hopefully y'all have a great weekend. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up, please, y'all. It helps the engagement. Leave a comment if you have anything to say. And I appreciate you watching. Bye, y'all.